Dan Willis here, and we're talking about capital recovery systems and specifically how to pay capital recovery collections and negotiate a settlement agreement, and so it will help your credit score. Now, you only want to enter into negotiations after your account has been validated and you've investigated that statute of limitations legal time window. We discussed that here in an earlier video. If you happen to miss it, we'll include a link in the description below. Now, if your account is validated and within that statute of limitations legal time window, our next step is to negotiate a settlement agreement directly with Capital Recovery Systems. There's two parts to your agreement, and it's best to get this in writing. First, we need to negotiate to settle your account for much less than the total balance. Often we can settle for just a fraction of the total, in the ballpark of around 20% to 40% of the balance. For instance, with a $500 debt, we may be able to settle for just 25% or $125. This is standard operating practice in the debt collection industry, and remember, Capital Recovery Systems has likely charged your account with a collection fee and also potentially interest fees. In other words, they should be more than willing to negotiate a settlement for less payment and be delighted to get it, as most debt collectors are in the industry. Moreover, Capital Recovery Systems works on a consignment basis, as in they only get paid if you pay, much like a commission sales position. Thus, it'd be shocking if they weren't willing to negotiate. But wait, we need to get the second part of your settlement agreement in place. We need to get Capital Recovery Systems to agree to stop reporting your account information to all three credit bureaus in exchange for your payment. If we neglect this part of your agreement, once you make payment, the only thing that'll change is the status of the collection mark on your credit report. It'll go from an unpaid collection to a paid collection. This is still a negative credit report item, and both creditcards.com and CNN Money say even a single negative on your credit report can lower your credit score by more than 100 points. Ouch! And if you'd like some help, you can get a free credit report consultation by calling toll-free 1-844-517-7627. Now let's talk about what's called a pay for delete. Are you familiar with this incredible sounding way of dealing with debt collectors called a pay for delete? It's where we demand Capital Recovery Systems first delete the collection from our credit reports, and then we promise we'll pay them. Wouldn't it be terrific if this is how it worked? And you're welcome to try it, but please don't hold your breath. In our decade-plus years of working with folks, we've yet to hear of one individual or one company ever successfully making this agreement. We're more likely to see PETA opening up a local butcher shop. This is why, instead, we encourage our members to get the collection agency, in this case Capital Recovery Systems, to merely agree to stop reporting the collections account to all three credit bureaus in exchange for payment. It's a small difference, but this is an agreement debt collectors will make, and it'll enable us to remove the collection mark in our next step. Now let's talk about how to get collections removed from your credit report. We need to discuss the credit report dispute process, because this is how to actually get collections removed from your credit report. This requires us to exercise more of your rights as a consumer, specifically those granted by the Fair Credit Reporting Act, or FCRA. This federal legislation enables you to challenge and dispute any item on your credit reports so long as you believe it's inaccurate, incorrect, or made in error. And yes, we're going to dispute the Capital Recovery Systems collection mark. There's three ways to file your credit report dispute: online, over the phone, and by mail. Once the credit bureaus get your dispute, they first get to deem it valid or frivolous. only on valid disputes are they required to investigate. And this is another conversation for another time and place, so we're going to include a link in the description below over to an article on our website for the full story. We also have a free report available there, the 7 proven ways to boost your credit score. Now, once the credit bureaus get your dispute and find it valid, they'll investigate. They'll call it a reinvestigation, during which they'll contact Capital Recovery Systems and ask them to verify the collection account. As per your settlement agreement directly with Capital Recovery Systems, they won't verify the collection account when the credit bureaus investigate. This is the second part of your settlement agreement with Capital Recovery about them agreeing to stop reporting your account information to the credit bureaus. As a result, and in compliance with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the credit bureaus must remove this collection from your credit reports. The FCRA is very clear. Every item on your credit report must be verifiable. If not, it must be removed. This is how to clean your credit report, and legally, and by exercising your rights as a consumer, and without just waiting 7 long, expensive, and embarrassing years. Because contrary to popular belief, 7 years is the maximum amount of time most negative items can legally remain on your credit reports. In other words, there is no minimum amount of time any negative item must remain on your credit report. And if O.J. Simpson can get early release after serving just 9 years on a 33-year prison sentence, we're confident you have good odds of getting early release from serving the maximum 7-year bad credit prison sentence. And if you'd like some help, you can get a free credit report consultation by calling toll-free 1-844-517-7627. On an aside, if this collection is on all 3 of your credit reports with Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, you'll need to file 3 separate credit report disputes, 1 dispute per bureau. You'll need to file an Experian dispute to potentially clear your Experian credit report, along with a TransUnion dispute for your TransUnion credit report, and likewise with Equifax. And just so you know, due to amendments to the Fair Credit Reporting Act since its original passage in 1970, today you can now dispute a data furnisher directly, thus bypassing the credit bureaus. In this case, that'd be Capital Recovery Systems. Now let's wrap this all up. It's not easy dealing with debt collectors, nor is it easy living with less than perfect credit. Our credit score virtually dictates our quality of life in so many ways. Keep in mind, every last one of these alphabet soup laws have been passed to protect you, the consumer. Not a one of them is passed for debt collectors or the credit bureaus. Despite this, many folks feel as if they're living in ancient biblical times and are David going into battle with Goliath. And you're telling me all I get is this lousy slingshot and a couple of pebbles? Come on, man! Understandably, as 60 Minutes exposed in recent years, it's a bit of a rigged system. It's virtually impossible to find any fault with folks like Julie Miller of Oregon. Miss Julie woke up one day to discover 38 bogus collection accounts on her Equifax credit report. She did exactly like the Fair Credit Reporting Act says she should and filed her Equifax dispute. Over the next 2 years, Equifax continuously found her dispute frivolous and requested additional information. Julie complied and provided her W-2s, pay stubs, copies of her driver's license, hair samples, DNA, and her firstborn child. And yes, that's a small exaggeration. Nevertheless, all for naught. After 2 years, Julie finally got fed up and sued Equifax. And she won, and a federal jury awarded her $18.6 million. And yes, this was later reduced on appeal to $1.8 million. The takeaway, though, is these weren't Julie's accounts. It was an obvious mistake, an easy remedy. And don't forget the Equifax hack of 2017 that resulted in about 145 million Americans' financial data being stolen by members of China's Communist Party. If you're unfamiliar, communists are the last people in the world you'd ever want to have your information and that of your family. Communism is responsible for the most deadly episodes of genocide in human history. In just the last 100 years, it's conservatively estimated to have resulted in the death of over 100 million people. Hopefully, your circumstances aren't as dire as Julie's, and many folks are able to work within the system, as every year, millions of credit report collections are removed. You'll need to get organized, stay disciplined, and remain persistent. At the end of the day, your credit score is a lot like your grade point average or GPA in glory school days past. It doesn't matter if you're acing all your classes, if you're failing Spanish. That one negative mark is going to annihilate your overall GPA. This too is true of your credit score, and why it's so essential to remove negative credit marks, errors, and any derogatory items from your credit reports. We encourage our members to consider professional credit score help with a legal, reputable, and legitimate credit restoration company, because in 2017 alone, over 10 million negative items were removed from consumer credit reports. One of the best is the Lexington Law Firm. They've helped clients successfully remove collections, late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, repossessions, foreclosures, and many more negative credit report items. And if you'd like some help, you can get a free credit report consultation by calling toll-free 1-844-517-7627. Again, that's for a free credit report consultation, and the toll-free phone number is 1-844-517-7627. This is Dan Willis. We're going to include a link in the description below over to an article at our website for the full story. We also have a free report available there, the 7 proven ways to boost your credit score. And of course, subscribe and join our congregation. Have a wonderful day, and looking forward to talking to you again here soon.